Justice for Atul is what everyone's talking about tonight. Very often there is justice for women. Today the question is whether men have justice, have recourse to justice, can expect justice at all, or whether it is assumed that a man is a perpetrator of wrong and a woman is always a victim. That is not a right assumption. The other debate is whether laws should be gender neutral. Now, we have with us, I'll quickly introduce Anil Murthy. He's co-founder of the Save India Family Foundation, a prominent men's advocacy group that was founded in 2005. We have Advocate Prashant Mendirata, Supreme Court lawyer. He has done many cases on men's rights. We have Deepika Narayan Bhardwaj, I would say one of the most prominent men's rights activists in the country. And we have women's activists here tonight on the program. We have Rukmini Singh, who's a lawyer and a women's activist live from Mumbai. We have Brinda Adige, one of India's well-known women's activists from Bengaluru, where this case happened. And Advocate Meera Patel is a Supreme Court lawyer and managing partner in Law Circle. Her main practice areas include family and matrimonial law and sexual harassment of women at the workplace. Thank you very much, everyone. Okay, Deepika, I want to start with you here. This case, what does it highlight? I saw a bit of the video, and it was a 1 hour, 20-minute video. Atul Subhash was not emotional. He was very clinical in his assessment of what he has been through. What struck me was that he said the following things. He said, I have appeared in court on 100 days. I have 40 personal appearances. My entire family is in court. Each time it takes 2 days to go from Bengaluru to Jaunpur. And most dates nothing happens. And I don't know what to do now. I'm out of options. What does this case highlight, and why has it attracted so much attention in the media and among people?
Arnab, I want to start by saying that, first of all, I think it has personally taken me 12 years to be on your show, where we are on prime time discussing about a man and men's issues. And that has come after a long, long time, because there are just so many people who are suffering, and it is becoming more and more evident every day. Atul Subhash is not just one case. Atul Subhash is representative of just thousands and lakhs of men and their families who are struggling with the system, unable to breathe in the system, because I think it has become just very one-sided in the zest of, equality and justice for women. Balance has to be maintained. Somewhere that has gone wrong. That is leading to suicide of not just one Atul Subhash, but I have several pages of suicide note by I don't know how many suicides that I bring out every day of men who are succumbing to false accusations and misuse of law. What is really striking about Atul Subhash's case is that he had seen the system, he had experienced the system, he knew the laws, he knew the recourses that he could take. He did make an attempt to take those recourses, but he was shunted again and again and again. And when he realized that his money is going to be used exactly against not just him, but to torment his entire family, his old mother and father, his brother, and his entire family will have to pay a price for just his marriage going wrong. That is when he chose to end it all, saying, I am not going to be the ATM for my own destruction. And that is real life experience of so many people who are in matrimonial disputes today, men.
I would intervene here, because I have Bikas Modi, who is the brother of Atul Subhash, who has agreed to come on our program for 2 or 3 minutes. So I will go to Bikas and come back to this discussion. Bikas, first of all, my condolences on the demise of your brother. Now, why did he lose faith in the system? If he was facing injustice, they can say justice can be delayed, but it cannot be denied. Why did he lose faith in the system and take his own life? Bikas, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Please go on. Go on.
Are you getting my voice?
I can get your audio. Yeah, please go on.
Arnab,
But to say if you on social media, he mentioned that the corruption मतलब जो करप्शन जो है वो कानून के सबसे औहदे पोस्ट पे बैठने वाले लोग अगर वो मांगने लगे एक न्याय को दिलवाने की बात ना करके वो
जी ऑडियो थोड़ा ठीक नहीं है,
तो उसे ज्यादा पैसा देना चाहिए डिमांड की जाती है उनसे, और कहा जाता है कि 5 लाख रुपए अगर तुमने नहीं दिए तो तुम्हें और तुम्हारी फैमिली को मैं कोर्ट के चक्कर कटवाऊंगी। लास्ट 2 साल में जो भी केसेस हुए, जो भी उन्होंने धाराएं लगाई हैं, अगर आप उन पे देखोगे तो आप ये पाओगे कि आपको पता चल जाएगा कि किस मतलब तरीके से या किस तरह से कानून का जो है वो मजाक बना के केसेस जो है वो उसके ऊपर चार्जेस अलग अलग सेक्शंस में अलग अलग टाइम पे एक जो केस खारिज कर दिए गए हैं कोर्ट के द्वारा उसको फिर ड्यूरिंग द टाइम मतलब टाइम के अकॉर्डिंग जो है वो टाइम फ्रेम के जो है वो बाद फिर से वही केस दोबारा दाखिल कर दिए जाते हैं। सुप्रीम कोर्ट ऑफ इंडिया का जजमेंट जो कि फॉलो करना होता है कोर्ट्स को, वो नहीं फॉलो करते हैं। उस पर ये बताया गया है कि कुछ रूल्स और चीजें फॉलो करनी पड़ती है, वो जज जो हैं वो नहीं मानती हैं। अगर आप वीडियो में और जो एलिगेशंस लगाए हैं मेरे भाई ने अगर आप देखोगे तो उसमें बहुत सारे जो जजेस के भी इसमें जज के भी नाम दिए गए हैं। तो मैं ये चाहता हूं कि जस्टिस इज ड्यू जो टाइटल दिया गया है इसका मेरे भाई द्वारा, वो जस्टिस ड्यू तब तक रहना चाहिए जब तक उसे इंसाफ न मिले। ये इस सिस्टम में बहुत सारे मेन आज मतलब इस ट्रॉमा से गुजर रहे हैं, बट ये ट्रॉमा कब तक वो गुजरेंगे, कब तक चलेगा ये सारी चीजें, कब तक एक हस्बैंड जो है वो पैसे की मशीन बन जाएगी, ये तो सिस्टम को डिसाइड करना पड़ेगा कि क्या निर्भया केस के बाद ऐसा कानून में इस तरह से प्रावधान लेके आ गया है जिससे आज वही एक्ट वो उसी चीज का लड़कियां जो है वो फायदा उठा रही हैं कहीं ना कहीं, और उसी एक्ट के फायदा उठाने के कारण आज अगर आप देखोगे तो 498 जो सेक्शन है उसमें सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने भी ये कहा है कि 98% ऑफ द केसेस जो है वो फेक दाखिल किए जा रहे हैं। तो क्या ये सिस्टम में चेंज लाने की सिस्टम में चेंज नहीं लाना चाहिए? इवन सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने ये चीज बोले हुए बहुत दिन हो गए, इस पे भी क्या संज्ञान लिया गया हमारे कोर्ट के द्वारा? मैंने तो अपना भाई खोया है, लेकिन मेरे भाई जैसे भी बहुत भाई हैं अभी इंडिया में जो बहुत सारे फाउंडेशंस में आज के डेट में इस ट्रॉमा से लोग गुजर रहे हैं। मैं बहुत सारे लोगों को मेरे भाई के बाद जो है वो केसेस के बाद जो है कुछ लोगों को जानता हूँ जो इस चीजों से वो गुजर रहे हैं। पता नहीं वो आज सुसाइड करेंगे या कल सुसाइड करेंगे, ये मुझे नहीं पता।
विकास जी सिर्फ एक सवाल है, जब आप जस्ट एक सवाल है और जितना आप शेयर कर सके, क्योंकि कभी कभी जब अगर लीगल प्रोसेस में फ्रस्ट्रेशन हो गई तो क्या आप लोगों ने कभी कोशिश की ये जो सिंघानिया परिवार है जो जौनपुर बेस्ड है, जहां पे आपकी सिस्टर इन लॉ रहती है, उनके फैमिली मदर अंकल सब है, क्या उनके साथ मिल के बैठ के इस मामले को रिजॉल्व करने की कोशिश हुई थी कभी? बिकॉज कोर्ट प्रोसेस तो बहुत लॉन्ग है।
एक्चुअली किसी भी मामले को हमने इस तरह से नहीं, जब उन्होंने डिवोर्स केस में केस फाइल कर दिया है तो फिर हम केस के तरीके से चलना चाहते थे, हम सिस्टम के अगेंस्ट जाना ही नहीं चाहते थे। और भैया भी मेरे पता नहीं था कि वो सिस्टम के अगेंस्ट आए, वो चाहता था कि सिस्टम से बात की जाए, सिस्टम के वो ऐसा नहीं था। अगर आप वो देखोगे कि इस सिस्टम में क्या हो रहा है, वो गुजारा भत्ता जो एक बच्चे का मांगा जा रहा है वो 40,000 रुपए महीने का मांगा जा रहा है।
ऑडियो इज नॉट गुड, बट विकास
4 साल का वो बच्चा है, वो 4 साल के बच्चे जो है वो 40,000 रुपए महीने का उसको गुजारा भत्ता दिया जा रहा है, वो 40,000 रुपए से 80,000 रुपए कर दिया जा रहा है। कानून में ये चीजें हैं कि अगर 80,000 रुपए आप देने के लिए एग्री कर गए तो कानून ये कहता है कि आप अगर 80,000 दे सकते हो तो 1 लाख रुपए क्यों नहीं दे सकते हो? फिर वो 1 लाख रुपए हो जाएगा। 1 लाख रुपए जब आप दे दोगे तो फिर वो कहा जाएगा कि आप इतने कैपेबल हो तो आप 1,20,000 क्यों नहीं दे सकते हो? तो क्या ये डिसीजन जो है वो किसी बेसिस पे होना चाहिए या आप ज्यादा पैसा कमा रहे हो उस बेसिस पे होना चाहिए? मेरा ये क्वेश्चन है। और क्या ऐसा कोई कमिटी, ऐसा कोई लॉ, ऐसा कोई सिस्टम है जहां पे अगर मेन को कुछ हरासमेंट हो रहा है तो वो अपनी बात कोई फोरम पे है जो जहां पे जाके वो अपनी बात कह सकता है? जी, ऐसा नहीं है कि सिर्फ वुमन एम्पावरमेंट की हम बात करते हैं कि वुमन एम्पावरमेंट होना चाहिए, बट वुमन एम्पावरमेंट का अगर मिसयूज हो रहा है तो क्या हमारे पास कोई राइट्स हैं? कहीं कुछ भी नहीं है हमारे पास। इन इंडिया तो कुछ भी नहीं है कि जहां हम अपनी बात को रख सकते जी। इवन इन सोशल में अगर बात की जाए तो सोशल में तो खुल के एक मैं कुछ बात भी शेयर नहीं कर सकता है। अगर वो शेयर करता है किसी के साथ तो उसको गलत माना जाता है, गलत तरीके से देखा जाता है उसको।
Bikas, thank you very much. फिर से एक बार my condolences to you and your family. Thank you very much, Bikas, for now. Now, Brinda Adige, I was starting with Deepika, now I'm opening the debate. Do men have a right to have any rights? If this had been a woman, and if a woman had committed suicide, facing harassment from her husband's family, and had recounted it like this, and there had been evidence to this extent, people like you would have been shouting from the rooftops about women's empowerment. Why are women's activists so quiet today? Why do they look at men's rights as something which must be denied, or as something which is against women's rights? I'm not against women's rights, but let men have rights too. Brinda.
Arnab, men have rights and women have rights. And that's our constitution. And this constitution does not discriminate. Now, women have special laws. And those laws have come about after extensive campaigns, rallies and PILs in court because of the so many socially sanctioned, discriminatory, violent, traumatic practices that women are subjected to. In the marriage home, probably in the biological home, and in the community. That men do not have rights, I don't agree with it.
No, but that's your position. That's your position. My question is, will all women's activists, and I know I might be very unpopular for saying this today, but I have to speak the truth. Will women's activists say that today the misuse of the Dowry Prohibition Act, Section 498A of the Indian Penal Code, is the most frequently misused law in the country? Itna bol de? Yeah, accept kare. Accept. Is it not true? Let me bring in Anil Murthy and Advocate Prashant Medirata maybe. Advocate, what do you think? Prashant, what do you think?
Yes, it is the most misused one. Not only the Honorable Supreme Court has said it, the Government of India has agreed to it. They have diluted the effect of 498A. In fact, 498A was so badly misused that on 2nd of July 2014, Honorable Supreme Court passed a judgment, Arnab Kumar versus State of Bihar, taking away the sting from 498A. The other women are maybe the actual victims are suffering now because the 498A had to be diluted by a judgment of the Supreme Court. And I very categorically say it in courts that on 2nd July 2014, the sexual orientation of all married men changed to such an extent that now the misuse of Section 377 started. Misuse of POCSO laws started. Men, the interpretation of the women laws, I am saying we love the laws. The interpretation has to be proper. They are being misused and the courts are acknowledging it. Now the next, after 498A, Arnab, now the misuse has started with 377. Luckily the new act does not have Section 377. But all offences prior to July of 2024, those offences are still being tried under 377 for unnatural sex. The wives have started levelling false allegation after 2nd July 2014 that the husband has committed unnatural sex on me. 98% of the FIRs of 498A after July 2014 have been carrying 377 along with it. To bring back the effect of being put in jail.
Yep.
the fear. And now POCSO is being misused.
So this
To
is...
all those fathers who have got children, especially girl child, the mothers, if they don't want to let the visitation happen, they want a divorce at their terms, the child is used to level false allegations of POCSO.
Yes, that is happening.
Unfortunately, in this case, Atul, my deepest condolences to his family. In this case, the poor chap had to travel 40 times from Bangalore to Jaunpur. I'm very happy to say that Delhi, all district courts have the video conference facilities. The Honorable Supreme Court made sure all district courts during COVID period have the infrastructure. Why wasn't that infrastructure used? What was the need to make this man travel from Bangalore to Jaunpur every hearing? You're not required. Under Domestic Violence Act, no husband is required to be physically present. There are judgments of Honorable Supreme Court saying Domestic Violence Act does not require husbands to be present. Only in Delhi, every hearing, every district court, every judge compulsorily is switching on the video conference facility, and we are telling husbands, you don't have to travel. We are telling families, you don't have to travel.
No, but this is harassment then, and it cannot happen without some connivance or involvement of judicial officers also. Now, these are very sensitive matters. And people say, don't discuss these things. Don't debate these things. But we must discuss, we must debate. I read in the papers every day that men are the targets of domestic violence, and also that men have been murdered by their wives. Every second day there is an article. Now the question is this: does the Domestic Violence Act, right, which is the PWDVA, does the Domestic Violence Act recognize men as victims of domestic abuse? This is a very important question. Or is there a feeling or an assumption made that men cannot suffer from physical abuse at the hands of their wives or spouses or partners or whatever? Rukmini, can you answer that? Is there a gender bias there?
No, there of course isn't any gender bias. And of course,
there is.
There has been.
There is, Rukmini. There is, Rukmini.
Yeah,
one minute. Are men seen as victims? Can a man go to a police station and file a case claiming domestic violence?
No, he cannot. And it is 498.
Let her answer that, and I'll come to you. Can he?
No,
Rukmini?
of course he can. Of course he can go to the police station, file FIR against domestic violence, mental harassment. Why not? Of course they can file.
Okay, and, she's asking a counter question. One minute. Deepika is asking you something, Rukmini.
Under what section can he file for mental? Under what section?
Women shouldn't. However,
under what section?
I agree that women shouldn't misuse and.
No, Rukmini, under what section?
Misuse
and Rukmini, Deepika is asking you a question. Deepika is asking you a question. Please
under what section can a man file a case of mental harassment on his wife? Which Indian Penal Code or Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita? 498A or the 8586 BNS that criminalizes cruelty is only for women. A husband cannot file a case on his wife.
Only for women, right? 498 is only for women, but there are, of course, with evidence, and there have been cases earlier as well where men have gone to police stations and courts and say that we have been victims of mental harassment and or
that's a
domestic violence.
However,
I agree that women shouldn't weaponize or misuse.
No, but are they? The question is not. Question is not whether. One minute.
Can I
just one minute.
Generalize such cases.
No, I'm not generalizing at all. What I'm saying here is, and I think there are a lot of people calling tonight, and I'm hesitating to take calls. There are too many people calling tonight. I'm hesitating to take calls because I don't want to carry individual accounts of cases here on my program live. So if people want to come in with general comments, they can, but not otherwise. Question is, can a man file a case if he is the subject of violence? Deepika, and then I'll come to you. Yeah.
Arnab,
coming to you, just a minute, please. Yeah.
Arnab, none of the gender-specific provisions in India allow a man to file a case. not a 498A which criminalizes cruelty, not a 376 which criminalizes rape, not a 354 which criminalizes stalking, molestation, sexual harassment, not the sexual harassment workplace. Men cannot be victims of sexual harassment, nor does the Protection for Women from Domestic Violence Act, which, let me remind the audience today, was brought in 2005 by a woman who is a legal luminary, Madam Indra Jaisingh, and what I understand is that this piece of provision was an exact kind of taking away from the UK law for domestic violence, which, by the way, is gender neutral. So if the women's rights activists or the feminists claim to be standing for equality, then in 2005, what stopped them from bringing a gender neutral provision?
So the domestic violence law, the legal position that is there, it's only for aggrieved women. The word uses woman. So I do not deny that. However, that being said,
so man cannot be aggrieved.
Not under Domestic Violence Act.
So a man, or even if there is violence on him, has no case.
He can go to the police station. Let's say there is physical violence. There are provisions of hurt. General hurt,
but if a woman then says that I will file a 498 case on you, she has a stronger case against him.
Not just say,
is 498 a tougher law?
Just 498 is a tougher law.
Why is it a tough law? Why is it a tough law?
We need to see
explain this to me.
Sure.
A law is being misused. Obviously, there are provisions in the law, like POCSO, which make it a tough law. Is it bailable? Is it non-bailable? Are the provisions such that the person filing the case has the upper hand from day one? Can you be frank about it?
498, first of all, it has lost its sting because of the Anish Kumar judgment.
But it has been used a lot.
It is being used because it is a stringent provision. We need to see the historical context where women were subjected to a lot of abuse, violence, dowry deaths. In this context, 498 was enacted. 498 is applicable in circumstances where there is extreme harassment or dowry-related harassment, which is being suffered
that's
by
up to the police station.
So
they can
men
file
are not going to suffer dowry-related
not
harassment.
Extreme harassment. The case that has been quashed by Supreme Court 2 days back is a case where it is the man who was victim of domestic violence and cruelty. He opted for divorce. He opted for divorce, which is his only legal recourse, and the woman then filed a 498A on not just him but his entire family.
So the courts are there to balance the rights.
So that is exactly what happens, Arnab. I deal with these cases every day. A man would smash her husband's head with a stone, has bites over here. I get these photographs.
A woman.
Yes, a woman doing that to the husband.
And when file a complaint for voluntary causing hurt, voluntary causing grievous hurt. It's not that
I'm dealing with a case right now where for 3 weeks there has not been an FIR registered, and the police saying
he can
you
file
go and live with her.
And
otherwise she will file all the cases against you and I'll put your family behind bars.
When the man is afraid,
Let's
he can go to the court.
What's happening on ground.
What's happening on the ground?
Let's talk about what's happening on...
We also have Anil Murthy. Anil Murthy wants to come in here.
50 lakh was demanded from him by his wife.
Please,
for her brother.
Just one bit here.
Arnab, I have spent 20 years of my time.
Anil.
Okay, to reform the police, I and my teams, and I was a friend of Atul Subhash. I have counseled him for 3 years. I have stayed in his house, in the same place where he has committed suicide. Okay. So let me take a step back rather than making women are misusing men are and all these men was so. But let me take a step back and I'll tell you about the elephant in the room. Okay. See, our legal system and the lawyers and the legal ecosystem, they are highly adversarial in nature. That means any person, man or woman, goes into the legal system, meets a lawyer or the court system, they are provoked. They are goaded into taking some kind of extreme thing, like making extreme demand or filing something which is extreme. This system is enabling. It's not just the lawyers. See, judges can play victim here or the judiciary can play victim here, but they are the part of the same system. And I'll tell you the catch here. This is the insight. And Parliament of India has discussed, and I myself was invited to Parliament in 2011 for the Parliamentary Committee about amendment of 4. So here is the crux of it. You know, we have around 10 laws in India which are to punish people or deter people from filing false. This includes IPC 211, which is a pretty strong law. If anybody files a false case, they can be punished under IPC 211 or BNS 240. Now here is the catch. Our judiciary doesn't want to use this law. They don't use this law. Judges are not following this law. Let me be honest. They are just crying victim, lamenting. What will they happen? Parliament of India, Sushil Shinde and Lalu Prasad Yadav ji. Sushil Shinde is Home Minister, Lalu Prasad ji is the Parliament opposition person, right? On 19th March 2013, Lalu Prasad Yadav ji saying in the Parliament, misuse ka kya hoga, misuse ka kya hoga, in the front benches. And Sushil Shinde says, don't worry, for misuse, there is 211, IPC 211. Parliament is completely aligned. There is law. Parliament has done it. So to deter people, IPC 211 has to be used. However, if any judge dares to use IPC 211, let's say Bangalore, Karnataka High Court Judge, Naga Prasanna, if he starts the proceedings under IPC 211, he will be pressurized by whosoever it is to take it back. So it is the system. It is the system. Why we may have making women, men, women suffering, men suffering. Okay, gender-biased law is a different topic. We'll talk about it. Domestic violence is a big topic. Bidirectional domestic violence, that's a completely different topic. We can go there. But the system, like these multiple, like there is no single window system. Man has to go to one court for matrimonial and maintenance, one court for child custody, one court for domestic violence, another magistrate court. So this has been deliberately kept that way. And there is a lot of resistance against the reforms. People like me, we have reformed. People like Deepika, we reformed the system.
But Anil, just one word on this case. You said you lived with him. You work for men's rights. Why couldn't you stop him from taking his own life? What support did you give him?
Arnab, here is the problem. He was not the kind of, we have a category of people about whom we are afraid they may take their lives. This person, Atul Subhash, is not at all. He's a very jovial person. He's a very practical person. And he's an AI person, and I will sit with him to discuss about those coding, Python and all those things and all. And he traveled with me to national parks and everything. He is the last person to commit suicide. He was certainly not in the depression or anything. And remember, in our NGO, we have therapists, life coaches, counselors. We have partnership with Niman's Bangalore. Niman's professors come and give talks.
But he's a young man. Yeah, he's a young man. He's 34-year-old. He's working well professionally. He can start his life again.
He has done a cold, calculated decision. It's a very cold, calculated
decision. Did he speak to you? When did he last speak to you? When did he last speak to you?
Maybe a couple of months back, but he has spent time with our other members in the community or prominent members just 2-3 days before he left.
What did he say to them?
One of the members.
What was he saying to them? What was he saying?
He was preparing his will. He was preparing his will around 1 month back. He prepared the will. So he has been planning. The Google folder where he has kept this particular, all documents, it is dated 31st October. So he had not given any clue to any one of us. And let me put it this way, what was the trigger for him? I'll tell you, he was afraid of a huge alimony liability. It's not 40,000 rupees he was worried about. Once the matter goes to High Court, he takes it or the woman takes it, then he has to disclose all his income. And this person was earning, what a tech person earns in a whole year. He was earning in 1 month what a normal techie earns in whole year. Okay, he was earning a huge salary.
Then why would he be worried about giving a good alimony? I mean, the question would also be, if he's earning so much money, earning so much money, he can take care of his parents, he can take care of his son, right? And he can give the alimony. It's not. So then why?
That became the curse.
Why?
Let me explain. That becomes the curse. See, he was thinking that if he shows his income as 12 or 14 lakhs,
not that.
he may end up have to pay 1.5, 2 lakhs or 3 lakhs as alimony monthly.
How much was he earning approximately? You're saying he earned 14 lakhs monthly?
Yes, something like that.
That's a huge. No, one minute. Just let's be logical here. I'm not making any presumptions on the case, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just going through it journalistically. A person is earning 14 lakhs as alleged here, I don't know, monthly, right? Which means he's earning close to 1.5 crores a year. Okay. Now, if he has to give 1 or 2 lakhs a month as alimony, based on his understanding of his economic situation, why would he not give 10 to 15 to 20% of his earning to support his own ex-wife or wife and son? Right? Is that
Yes,
the question,
yes.
Meera? One minute. Counter
Yeah,
question.
true.
Counter question. Meera asks a counter question here. Meera wants to say something. Meera, go on.
So far as maintenance is concerned,
Please,
we have
please.
some judgments of Delhi High Court which have provided a formula. But if I apply that formula, he would have been liable to pay 7 lakhs a month if he was earning 14 lakhs, and this liability is only 40,000.
But his argument is, if you see his video,
Arnab, you are missing the insight. Let me
let's hear. Wait a minute. Don't get technical. Let's go on the basic issue. People are watching the program at a mass level. Yes. Briefly, please. Briefly,
I'll answer. See, here is the problem. Let's say he has to pay 1.5 lakhs or 2 lakhs. So that is a 24 lakh liability. But here is the elephant, the whole thing, elephant in the room. A person of that kind of a CTO or a director level position, he may lose his job any time, like 1 month notice, he may lose his job. Okay, and he may end up with a half salary, or maybe, he may not get job. I have a person working in Qualcomm, he lost job recently. Similar situation is...
but won't his payout change then?
It will change.
Won't his payout change then? No. Suppose a person... One minute. Suppose a person earning 14 lakhs a month, and I agree with you, high performance guy at this age of 34 earning so much money must be really good in his job. Suppose he loses his job, as happens in the private sector, and tomorrow he earns only 2 lakhs a month. I'm sure the court will not expect him, will it, Brinda, to pay...
Arnab, court will not listen to it. Court will not trust him. Court will not listen to it.
Brinda, I'll come to you. Brinda, what's your understanding, Brinda?
No, he can appeal to the court. He can definitely appeal.
No.
The appeal will take time, Rukmini. The appeal will take time, Rukmini. Brinda?
This is in the family court, Arnab, and there are cases where 3 weeks' time the judges have given interim orders.
Audio.
So change of circumstances, on the basis of that, you can always file an application.
File a modification application.
No, it doesn't happen.
Yes.
Judges will say
It happens. You can file 127, 125.
Louder, please. Meera, you're being too soft. Yeah. Meera is saying something.
Yeah.
Okay, right now it's Meera versus Deepika on the studio debate again. Meera, make your point.
So he can always file a modification application. If it's a maintenance under 125, he can file a modification under 127 for change of circumstances.
Judges will not listen.
And for under domestic violence.
The argument made here is that the court is anti-men.
No.
Is that the argument being made here? No.
Wait,
Deepika. Okay. You can look at her directly and answer.
If we are specifically
Don't look at the
going to talk
camera
about Atul Subhash's case, let us please first understand the idea of starting of the dispute was financial. His wife allegedly wanted him to give 50 lakhs to support the career of a brother. And when he put his foot down,
where is that documented?
It is there in his entire video. That is how its story begins of conflict.
So he was being seen as a way, as someone to milk.
Yes,
to
absolutely.
Finance.
Yes.
Okay.
And now she had first claimed for maintenance. Now she had also not disclosed, allegedly, as per whatever details are there available, that she was also working in Accenture. She is also earning probably a salary of 1.5 lakh per month. And then the child that was granted maintenance of 40,000 per month, for which appeal was filed to be escalated to 80,000 per month, he was not even able to see that child.
Meera's counter. Meera's
14 lakhs a month, 80,000 for the child is still too meager.
Okay.
Even as per
so
law.
Every kind of
kindness
has to come from the man and not from the woman. So she has filed 9 cases on him.
The child
dragged his family in a case of murder.
He says, suppose he says, his argument is that I don't want to become an ATM for a woman who has harassed me, and I feel that that is what I'm going to end up becoming. Now, in the given case here, and the point is, interesting statistic, Meera, can you tell me why 85 to 90% of divorce proceedings in India, cases, right, are filed by women? Why is it? And my question goes to everyone. I'm told 85 to 90% of divorce cases in India are filed by women. And not
that's a fact. As divorce proceedings are concerned,
yes,
I think they are filed more by men than by women. As a counterblast, when women file 498A cases, when women file
498A cases, is it true that eventually they have the lowest conviction rate? That almost 90% of the cases are found to be false.
So there is also a reason.
What happens to those 90% of the people who go through 10 years, 20 years of harassment and after that the case is dismissed?
So sometimes parties settle before the matter is finally decided.
So what is
settlement?
So Meera, what was the law brought for? To address dowry or violence against women, or reduce it to a tool of compensation when a marriage breaks down?
I have a theory on this. You have a very strong case. I think we should speak about the elephant in the room. It's a dangerous law, okay? And 90% of the cases, 88 to 89% of the cases don't end in conviction, but it's a dangerous law. And in India, you know, there are lots of fees involved, lawyer fees, court fees, expert fees, miscellaneous fees. Mutual divorce is very expensive. There are costs of lawyers, you know, lakhs of rupees. There are drawn out proceedings. The system tires you out, right? Plus, in this case, not just you, but your whole family gets involved, right? It becomes family versus family. It's no longer individual versus individual. And so society gets involved. Social issues get involved. It's a different case. I mean, why don't we accept we need to fix this?
Arnab, do you know that 498 is perhaps the only law in the country in which highest number of women have been jailed?
Women have been jailed?
Yes,
Why?
yes, sisters, mothers. Anybody who was accused of 498, I've made a documentary called Martyrs of Marriage. Until 2016, there was 5.5 lakh women who were arrested.
Brinda wants to say something to you. Brinda?
So,
Brinda is saying, Brinda, is this true?
Yes, it is true, but we also need to understand that when there is any kind of cruelty happening in the house where the woman has got married and gone, there are sister-in-laws, there are sisters, and there is a mother.
Audio is very bad.
So yes, all of them would be good. And all of them.
So do we then Meera and Rukmini, do we then accept? No, do we then accept? Do we then accept?
Give me a minute.
Your audio is so bad. I want to fix that part a little bit and come back to you, Brinda, in a minute.
Arnab, I share cases where...
No, one minute. Wait, Anil, yeah.
I share cases where when men have done something wrong to women and they get convicted, I celebrate that this monster got punished. He got punished for what he did. I want to ask all the women's rights activists on your show today, Arnab, it has been 40 years of 498A. Tell me 40 women who got punished for filing a false 498A, proven in the court of law that it was false. Give me 40 cases and I will leave this job.
Rukmini.
No, in many cases, even court today has expunged 498A in many cases.
Ma'am, one case law. Please give me name of one case law, ma'am.
No, but one case law. In many cases, the court has expunged 498A. Secondly, Supreme Court today only said that women misuse dowry law. So it's not like the court is trying to favor any particular gender here, but there have been many such cases. I cannot cite one particular case, but many such cases where women have been jailed in 498A cases.
I am asking for just one example.
I can give you one example here.
Researching on 498A
there is a case. It's in Noida, in National Capital Region, where a woman refuses to marry her groom on the marriage day. And she says that he wants 12 lakh rupees as dowry and a car, right? And the case goes to court, and the man spends 10 years or more in jail.
No, not in jail. In the trial of that case.
In the trial of that case.
His mother went into jail.
His mother went into jail. The family had faced trouble, and later the case was dismissed because of lack of strong evidence. So we are hearing here. See, I think the problem is Rukmini, Brinda and Meera. You know, I very strongly advocate women's rights. But problem is women's rights activists are seeing men's rights as a threat. Then we are not, it's not women versus men, Brinda.
Arnab, I just want to share...
women do not see men's rights as
I'm not saying women.
If you look at feminism itself, we believe men and women must be treated equally. and their rights be respected equally.
But that's
it is the system that is looking at it like that.
Okay, one minute. It's a system.
Misogynistic system.
It's a system. It's a system. Okay, who's one minute? Just can you let one more other person come? One minute. Prashant Mendiratha. After that, I'm coming to you. Prashant
Mendiratha. Part of my document.
I'll come to you in a minute. Yeah.
Had it been the woman, unfortunately, who would have committed suicide, believe me, the Bangalore police would have been at the husband's house, arrested the entire family in 306 and put them behind bars. This is one of those cases. Atul in the video categorically mentions the ingredients of abetment of suicide. There cannot be a more grievous case than this of abetment of suicide. Why is Bangalore police sitting there? And what Mr. Anil said, I will agree only to one aspect.
The Bangalore police has registered an FIR on the woman. I'm not taking up for the woman.
Brindaji, after so much of furore, I heard
the Atul and the video.
Brindaji, Sandeep Paswan from Mumbai.
The Bangalore police has filed a
Brinda, Deepika is countering you. Let her, Deepika and Brinda on air, please. 1 minute, Deepika.
Brindaji, Sandeep Paswan died by suicide in Mumbai, leaving a 20-minute suicide video blaming his ex-fiancée of extortion and harassment and filing a false stalking case on him. Mumbai police took 2 months to even lodge an FIR, and it's been 2 months that no action has been taken against that person or anybody blamed in the suicide note. 20-minute suicide video, almost this much of evidence that he was an innocent man. We deal with suicide cases every day. Atul is an exceptional case where this has become a news. Otherwise, we know of suicide cases where if the husband's family pressed 306 charges, the wife's family then filed a dowry case and a domestic violence case. Yesterday on debates, Om was sitting from Delhi, whose brother died by suicide. He left a suicide video and his babi has now filed
demand police reforms.
Brindaji, I think you need to start pulling women now. Brindaji, you need to start
dilute the law.
Brindaji, you need to start pulling
enforcers of the law.
You need to start pulling women who are playing with the system. They are criminals. Please do not protect them.
10% of women being criminals cannot negate 90% asking for justice.
In 2002, Delhi High Court said 498 is being misused. Madam Ranjana Kumari, with a range of feminists, attacked Delhi High Court, broke the
Supreme
chair.
Court did not have all of its information.
Yes, she did. Please Google it. It's on
10
fact.
cases come there and the
You
Supreme Court
continue
will say
to deny that women are taking advantage and the laws will be diluted, which is going to harm women.
Why are the judicial officials not there to get this investigation in place? Why is the scrutiny department not looking at the cases that come before the court? Isn't it the job of
Brindaji, I have in my hand
judiciary?
What do you have?
A report from Director General of Police.
Everyone.
Madam, please listen to this.
Put a false sheet and send
I will tell you,
the police.
2024, I am telling you, in 2030, Supreme Court will say rape laws are being indiscriminately misused in this country. I am giving it to you in writing. This is what happened.
Just because the court says it doesn't mean that rape laws are being misused, isn't it? Because it is less than 3%
Supreme Courts are a reflection of what's happening on ground, and this is a report by the Director General of Police Haryana.
Could even refuse.
One minute.
Where one woman.
What is she? Meera is saying something to Meera. Meera, louder, Meera. Come on.
Supreme Court refused to entertain a PIL when DV Act was being made gender neutral. Somebody asked for a plea. That
we asked for a national commission for
DV be made gender neutral.
National commission for men as well.
So if you are saying that court
let's get Anil.
Yeah. See, can I say, the judge said, do you want to make an association for men who may commit suicide? Do you want to create an association for people who may commit suicide? In that PI.
But it was to be made gender neutral, but the Honorable Court in its wisdom refused to entertain it.
Let me take some fact here.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen.
Arnab, I just want
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm over time. I'm giving you 10 seconds. I'm only giving you 10 seconds, Deepika, because you've been in this for a long time.
Rayaz, chairperson, Rajasthan State Commission for Women, said that there needs to be action against women who are filing false rape cases. 40 women's rights activists stormed her office and banged on the table that how can you talk about punishing women who are filing false cases?
Well, can I say, women do face brutality of domestic violence, but so do men.
Yes.
Women do face dowry issues and whatnot, but there are very many cases where men also face that. Yes. Now, the question is this. Are we going to live in a society where laws are same, applicable for men and women? I think it's time. What the Supreme Court is saying is important. Justice for Atul should be followed up. And we at Republic will certainly do that. I thank you for joining me on this very, what you can say, a subject which is not often discussed, and our condolences to the family of Atul. Thank you very much for joining me tonight.